Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my first unboxing video in well over a year I think. Collecting video games for me has been on a bit of a hiatus for the past year and a half since the birth of my daughter. When you have a wee one running around, having the money and the time to enjoy video games, it's just not as easy as it used to be. However, despite this, I still collect some things that I'm really interested in, and I've noticed recently that I've began collecting again without even realising it, almost subconsciously, like I'm drawn back to it again. Today, I've got a game called Hammerwatch, which has got two games in it, and I'm really looking forward to opening this one. Originally, it was the second Hammerwatch game that interested me, but when I looked back and done my research, the first one seemed really interesting, and then I realised there was a spin-off game as well. Doing some further research, I found that there was a collector's edition that has the first game and the spin-off game in one package, so let's just dive right in. The first Hammerwatch game was released in 2013, and it's a hack and slash adventure game with gameplay similar to that of Diablo 1. The player is in a castle and must kill hundreds of enemies, much like the first Diablo game. There are 6 character classes of Paladin, Wizard, Ranger, Thief, Warlock and Priest. The second game in this collection is Heroes of Hammerwatch, which was released in 2018, and is a roguelike adventure game set in the same universe as the first game. Heroes of Hammerwatch differs from the first game in that it's got random generated levels offering higher replayability. However, if I'm being completely honest, I find both of these games just a little bit linear on their own, and it's actually Hammerwatch 2 that I'm looking forward to playing after I complete these games. Despite this, I really couldn't resist picking up this collector's edition, and it's actually my first strictly limited game that I've ever picked up. So opening up this box, the first thing you're met with is a retro looking Epics for Hammerwatch badge. And then we have a nice little sticker collection of various characters and playable classes. I'm a huge fan of pixelated art and 16-bit characters. It takes me back to when I was a kid. And then we have the Nintendo Switch game box, which I think we'll leave till last. And a good old soundtrack, always a good addition to a collector's pack. From what I've played so far, the soundtrack's actually really quite nice, and it seems to only get better in the second game. You can hear the soundtrack in the background of this video currently. Next up we have various postcards featuring artwork from the game. And lastly, we have a pretty cool poster. And then of course we have the Switch case itself, which is absolutely lovely. Physical gaming is mostly dying sadly, but I'm glad to see the Nintendo Switch is still fighting the good fight, for the most part. And you can see on the back here, in amongst the gorgeous pixelated art, is a picture for Hammerwatch, the original game, and Heroes of Hammerwatch, the spin-off. Now I always love to see a gaming manual. When do you ever see gaming manuals these days? Thing of the past. So in this manual you have a description of all the different player classes. The Paladin fills the role of tank, getting in close to take and dish out damage, and he can block enemy projectiles with his shield. This character will add armour for all members in your guild. The Ranger specialises in long range combat using his bow and keeping his distance with his abilities. This character will raise the attack power of all members on your guild. The Sorcerer specialises in ice magic. He's got many AoE spells that have high damage output potential. The main attack aims towards the nearest enemy. His character grants every guild member with mana regen. The Warlock uses chain lightning magic that bounces between enemies and the gargoyles he can summon. These gargoyles also serve as traps. This character grants resistance to every guild member. The Thief relies more on his cunning and skills than other classes. He can destroy projectiles with his base attack on higher attack speeds, almost functioning as a shield. The Smoke Bomb paralyses enemies. This attack grants extra gold to every guild member. The Priest is a hybrid class, dealing damage as well as healing with his prayers. His abilities to tank damage allows him to get in close. This character grants HP regeneration to all guild members. The Wizard uses fire magic to roast enemies from afar. With Scorched Earth, he is able to set the ground aflame by attacking, allowing devastating AoE strategies. This character grants extra skill power to every guild member. And the Gladiator class excels in getting close, stunning his enemies and retreating to avoid getting damaged. This character grants extra critical damage to every guild member. And finally we have the Witch Hunter. The Witch Hunter uses a variety of gadgets and traps to go after enemies, instilling fear wherever he goes. This character grants extra critical skill damage to all guild members. So that concludes this unboxing video. Definitely not one of the best collector's editions I've ever owned, but it's a really nice addition to have in my collection. As I said, I plan on firing through both of these games as quickly as possible to get to Hammerwatch 2, which looks like a much more expansive and open world experience. But thanks very much for watching. If you are new to the channel, please feel free to like or you could subscribe, but until next time, see ya.